National trends showed that students fell behind academically during the pandemic. New Jersey is no exception, but are there steps local communities can take to help? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is the mayor of Middletown Township, Tony Perry. Thanks for joining me. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Jill.
Let's talk a little bit about where we are right now in the state of New Jersey. There was a statewide assessment done in the fall of 2021. Among other things, this assessment showed that students in grades 4 through 6 needed strong support in order to catch up in math. The test is one data point, but you see it as a call for local communities like yours to step up and help. You've created a concept called Next Generation Support Program. What's the idea behind the concept?
So obviously, we were all very happy to see in the early days of the pandemic how quickly our public schools were able to transfer over to that virtual platform, that virtual world, to continue to be able to provide our students with an education, to keep them busy, to keep them active, and to take them and not have them thrown to falling behind due to the pandemic. But the one important factor now, we're 20 plus months since the beginning of this pandemic. And one thing that we all saw, and that many parents and loved ones were ringing the bell about, was that of the quality of education that their children were getting, not at the fault of the teachers, but just simply via the engagement through the computer, through the virtual classroom. And one eye-opening data point to show that 50% of fourth and fifth graders are behind when it comes to mathematics. That is something that is so critically important to realize, that we all have to admit. The first thing is we have to admit that the virtual classroom cannot be a permanent solution. It was a solution out of necessity. And now we have to work to ensure that those students who did fall behind in mathematics, in language arts, in all these different subject areas that are critical for their development in the coming years through their academic life, that they get that time to make it up. And that's what our program is all about.
And let's talk about the concept of the program. Who would be involved? What does the program include?
So from the very beginning, I engaged with our Board of Education with the help of our president, vice president, the superintendent, business administrator, folks from our team here at the Township. And the one thing that we did was we all had to say to ourselves, we have to commit ourselves to ensuring that if we're going to continue with the political line that all politicians like to say, of ensuring that our children are going to have a better life than they, that we all work collaboratively to ensure that that's even a possibility, because of how they have fallen behind in the classrooms. And not every student is experiencing this. Some thrived in the virtual classroom. But from the outset, we went and engaged with our Board of Education to say, we want to be partners in this process. We want to work together, and we want to ensure, because it may just seem like it falls as an educational issue, but there's a social component to this. There's a mental health component to this, and all of those. And I may be the mayor and have no say over what the Board of Education does, but I do have obviously an interest and a need to voice my concerns when I see something is going wrong. And that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly why I approached our Board of Education to get this program up and running as soon as possible.
And how would the community be involved with helping students to succeed?
So as everybody knows, one of the biggest storylines, obviously, of the last few years has been the American Rescue Plan and the money that all the municipalities and the counties and the boards of education were going to be receiving from the federal government due to the pandemic. And that all came from the American Rescue Plan. And all municipalities are beginning to submit plans as to how they're going to spend that money. And, Middletown received $6.4 million split up into two tranches of funding, one last year, one this year. And we're going to be taking parts of that money and really dedicating it to a group of people, being our students and our next generation of leaders, of nurses, of electricians, and so on and so forth, and applying that money directly to those who were most impacted by the pandemic. And I think everyone can agree that that was our students. So by utilizing this funding, we're able to bring in tutors. We're able to advance new programs that is able to help bring kids to our library and pay for their tutoring, utilizing the American Rescue Plan funding. Bring in counselors to our Crossroads program that's able to help parents and children when it comes to mental health. And I think we can all agree, as Republicans and as Democrats, that the one group of people that need the most support since this pandemic has started is our children. We cannot set them up for a better life. I have 2 children of my own. I want to provide them with a better life than I had, growing up as a kid. And I think that if they were in school at this time, if they were experiencing what our K through 12 have experienced over the course of the last 20 months or so, I want to ensure that my town, my community was stepping forward and helping those kids, because they are going to be the folks that take over.
And we just have a short time left, but as you mentioned, this is a new program. At what point could we potentially see kids gaining access to tutors, kids gaining access to the mental health component of this new program?
So the mental health first aid that our parents and students are going to be receiving and have the opportunity to take part in, that's going to start at the end of February. So this is going to be a very fast turnaround time to be able to ensure that those kids that need that help, right? There's built-in programs within our schools already, but just giving that added benefit to not just the students within the schools, but to the parents on what to look out for. The tragedies happen, and if we can work to prevent just one, that's a success. On the academic side, we're working right now to get teachers, to get retired teachers, and folks that are established tutors, and bring them in and figure out how can we structure a program that is able to provide them with a whole array of subject matters and ability to bring them in and give them that extra time that they might need.
Mayor, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jill.
I've been talking with Mayor Tony Perry of Middletown Township. For more conversations from across the country, you can visit our website at comcastnewsmakers.com. I'm Jill Horner.